Folks, welcome to another edition of Play Branson, where you get to know Branson's entertainers better. And today, for the first time ever on the show, I have Dalena Ditto. So excited that she's going to be on to tell us about her new show. And so I want to talk about country music, just a little bit, trivia. But before I do that, in the past I had mentioned that Chris Tomlin was going to be in Branson, and so I saw some great video there. Echo Hollow was packed to the brim with people seeing him, and so excited folks that came out. And so I've been to a lot of live performances lately. I went and saw Toby Mac, one of my favorite artists, up at a festival just north of Branson, and then went and saw Danny Gokey and Torrin Wells as well. And so a lot of folks are going to see live performances, and so thank you for doing that. It means so much to these entertainers to be back out performing. It means so much that you're coming out to see them, and so I just want to say thank you for supporting live entertainment, because there is nothing like live entertainment out there. So thanks for doing that. Here's the other thing, is if you're thinking about coming to Branson and you want to bring a group, whether that's a family reunion, your church small group, or a motor coach deal, or a sports team, or whatever, I've got a publication for you you may want to check out. It's called Ozark Trails. It's been around for 46 years, and it's got a lot of great Branson information in it. So do this. Go to our Facebook page, send us a message and say, hey, send me the Ozark Trails publication. We're thinking about bringing a group. If you will go to our Facebook page, give us your address, we will get a copy of this to you, and this will be a great resource for you to help plan your Branson group experience. Okay, a few items on music, country music, trivia. I did not know this. What is popularly called the birthplace of country music? I did not know the answer to this, but it is Bristol, Tennessee. Now, why is Bristol called the birthplace of country music? Well, the U.S. Congress gave Bristol, Tennessee the official title of the birthplace of country music. Now, what I don't know is why. So that's another thing for another trivia day. When was the Grand Ole Opry founded? A long time ago. It was founded on November 28th, 1925, almost 100 years ago. Here's another last trivia, country music. Where was Johnny Cash born? In Kingsland, Arkansas. Not that far down the road here from Missouri. Arkansas is just down the road. So there's a couple interesting country music trivia facts for you. We'll be back in just a minute with Dalena Ditto.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need ibranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at ibranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. ibranson.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show, and today on the show, for the first time ever, I have Dalena Ditto. Dalena, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since I have seen you. I mean, you've kind of been on a hiatus in Branson.
I have been. I've been raising my son, who's now 13 years old, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And he's doing well in school and baseball, and so I thought now's the time. Might be kind of fun to get back into the biz.
So let's take us way back, because you've got a long history in Branson, but even before that, kind of tell people your musical journey.
Okay. Well, I grew up on the road, actually. My folks were entertainers. My dad had worked with Johnny Cash and Patsy Cline and Minnie Pearl and Slim Whitman. He did the Ozark Jubilee, up here in Springfield years ago. And so when he met my mom, she was a singer. And together they became the Ditto Duo.
The Ditto Duo.
Yeah, imagine that. And then along I came, and then I was about 3 when I finally was in their show. And we would travel, do about 300 shows a year all around the nation, into Mexico and that. And sometimes 3 shows a day. And so I grew up on the road. And when I was about 9, we settled back on what my dad had grown up on, which was a farm. But we continued to perform off and on. So later, just skipping ahead, I went to college, studied broadcast journalism and music, and then from there went on cruise ships as a headliner. And from there, someone saw me on one of the Crystal Cruise Lines as a headliner, and brought me to Branson.
Okay.
So-
So you've literally traveled all over the world performing.
I used to do about 55 countries a year.
55 countries. That is a lot of
It
countries.
was a lot of fun.
And so you'll see, like sometimes ads in the papers for Branson entertainers to audition to be on cruises, but it kind of worked in reverse
Right.
for you.
Yeah, it was a lot different. I was in Nashville, and I had a small contract with a company, a developmental deal is what they call it, for a record deal. And so I was singing in Dallas at Cowboys, and they were basically grooming me to, hit the road as an artist. And then my entire label was, I guess, what do you call it, when they take all the parts of the president on down and
Just went belly up or whatever.
Yeah, it changed everything. So I lost my deal, and I just made a phone call to a cruise line and told them my background. I flew out to LA and auditioned, spoke with them, and 10 days later I was on a cruise ship to Alaska, or in Alaska, and the rest was history. I did that for 9 years.
Okay. So someone says, they see you on the cruise ship and they say, you need to go to Branson.
Right.
And did you where's Branson? What is Branson?
Funny story, my folks honeymooned here by accident. They were actually touring and were close to Springfield, and it was their honeymoon evening after they did a show, believe it or not, and they said, is there any hotels in the area? And they said, well, there's one in Branson, one hotel in Branson. That's how long ago. Yeah. So they stayed down at, what was it called, Sammy
Lane? Yeah, probably.
And they fished, and there's an old picture with my mom's, the floor was cold, so she had his hand gloves on her feet. Wow. And so, yeah, I kind of had heard about Branson.
Okay.
But we had not been back, and so when I came here, I was totally blown away at the entertainment, at the events for kids, and the beautiful area. I just couldn't believe it.
So kind of, because I know you had performed at different theaters and shows, so where did you start out at when you came to Branson?
Starlight Theater.
Starlight, okay.
Which is now Beyond the Lens.
Yes, and so did you open with your own show, or were you a part of another show? Or?
Well, when I was on the road in Nashville, I had a band, and but when I moved here, obviously, when on cruise ships, I used orchestras. So when I moved here, they put a band together of some of the best pickers, and I just used their band and told them what I wanted as my part of the music. They inserted some of their, expertise as far as bluegrass or, different kinds of steel guitar rides and stuff like that. And then we had a comedian, and his name was Boudreaux. And so we would do some comedy together. I'd never been a straight for a side, comedian, but I learned how to do comedy, and it was fun. And it was just funny because we all clicked. And to this day, I still use at least one of the players from that original band.
So, okay, so you're at the Starlight. Then what happens after that?
Well, it was a long story. They wanted me to sign a contract, and me having been in a contract in Nashville at one point and I had a bad experience. Let's put it that way, which happens a lot. I was always told to take it to a lawyer, so I said I was going to take the contract to a lawyer, and they didn't like that because there was a couple of little lines in there that would have prevented me from entertaining in Branson should I break away. So anyway, I broke away on my own, and I ended up at the Americana Theater and took it on all by myself, which I had no idea how difficult it could be, but I learned.
Yeah.
And it has been, there's ups and downs. I can say that the pluses have greatly outweighed the negative, but it has been work, and it is work.
Yeah, and so kind of during that, your first time in Branson, how many years were you here doing different shows?
Oh gosh, I think 13. 13 years. Yeah.
So, and were they? Some of them were morning shows, right?
Yes, most of them were morning shows. I did try a few evenings. I was at the Americana, and from the Americana, I went to Mickey Gillies. And he had asked me to come down there, and for 3 years I was there. He's such a gem of a person. And from there I went to Clay Cooper's, and from there I went to the Oak Ridge Boys Theater, and that was
Which no longer even exists.
I know.
Yeah.
It was fantastic, though. I love that place. But we had, at that time, we were booking about 400 buses a year. It had grown that much. Of course, you lose about 30%. But, I mean, the town was rocking and rolling.
Yeah. And so at some point you decided to say, I'm going to just stop for a while and
Well, my dad had, they found he had cancer. And it was called multiple myeloma, which is kind of slowly progressive, no cure for. And then my mom suddenly had a heart attack and passed away. So things had changed. I was having difficulty in the marriage, as a lot of people go through those things. And I had this little 4-year-old, and I thought, I need to rethink life a little bit. I've been on the road since I was 3. I've entertained. I've enjoyed every minute of it, but I really need to prioritize, and family came first. So took a break, and it was much needed. I didn't realize we even had a lake here in Branson.
There are some guests that do not know that either. So
I had no idea, and we bought a jet ski, and I thought, I have a lake view, and I really had no time to be on the lake. So I learned to live a little bit, and it's been energizing.
Yeah. So I went to the lake last night, actually, with my son on the jet ski, and it started good, and we had a great time. And so if you go during the week, there's less people.
Right.
And so he just dropped. We went back into this back cove, and then he just dropped me off, and I'm just sitting there in the water in the cove, and then he goes out and does his little craziness, and then we switched and did the same thing.
Right.
So anyway, but the lake is amazing.
It is. What? How many acres of 14,000 acres of, it just goes on, and it's just gorgeous, clear water.
So we want to talk about the new show, but we're going to be back in just a minute, and so hang tight because we're going to hear what Dalena Ditto is doing now.
Playing a fool's game, hoping to win. That matters most of all.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. We are here with Dalena Ditto, and Dalena, you have a brand new show in town called Country Evolution.
Yes.
And so tell people about this show.
I can't believe it. I've been doing country for so long, but for some reason this new show has gone over bigger than anything I've done in the past. It is, I think the intrigue is, where did we come from? It's uniquely American. Country music is kind of a melting pot of our culture. It's a timeline of who we are as a country and where we're going. And it's really intriguing, the small little snippets of information that we add into the story of our country and our show, and tells the story of our whole life here in America.
Yeah. So you're kind of giving people history of country music, and you're doing a big variety then.
About 53 to 58 artists. It's a lot.
That's a lot.
So it's not boring. The fun thing is, I always say it's like a freight train. You started in the early days where they didn't really have a lead guitar. They didn't have harmonies. They just kind of sang a lot of hymns and that were rewritten with different words. But the history of how it all came about is fascinating. And actually, I have learned so much. And delving into it, I couldn't get enough. Yeah, it was fascinating.
Yeah. So how did it all come together? And
starting it all over again?
Yeah, because you're at the Little Opry Theater over at IMAX. So kind of tell us how it all happened.
Okay, so I've always thought I just didn't feel like I was done entertaining. I think that my whole being has always been an entertainer. I've always said there are better singers, but I'm a good entertainer, and that's my whole forte. I've gone around the world. I've had record deals. I have had all the success, mostly because I know how to entertain. And what I find entertaining is not me, but the audience. And putting the emphasis back on what I can give back to them. Hosting a party with great entertainers that join me, my live band, and the facts and the songs that make it so interesting, and then bringing people up on stage. But how it all came about is I was actually driving down the road, and I thought, I know a gentleman had left the IMAX, and I've always loved the little Opry Theater. It's just so quaint and personable.
Right.
And so I made a phone call, and I said, "Are you looking for entertainers?" And he said, "Well, by coincidence that you'd call, we are auditioning on Friday." And I thought, wow, this is Monday. I don't think I can get it together that quickly.
Yeah, that's fast.
But I said, how about the following Monday? He said, sure. So I actually was driving, and I thought, what can we do? I really don't want to go back and do what I used to do, because I had a comedian and dancers, that whole thing. I really need to restructure, make it more interesting. And it just came to me, believe it or not. And sometimes you believe in the higher power giving you these thoughts. It was just like that. It was so easy to think about. And a lot because my dad lived the history of country music, and he did shows based on that. And I thought, why not? And country evolution came to mind, because it evolves, and it's, the country, the story, the whole everything. So the ideas came. The band was excited. I called my first mate, Dino Strunk, who's been Guitarist of the Year 6 times over and up for 3 more awards. And I said, what do you think? He goes, I love it. And so we started calling players, and they all joined in, and we put a show together by Friday, practiced it, auditioned on Monday, and the rest is history. And it has been absolutely amazing.
And so you're doing 3 days a week, right? Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at noon. And it's an hour-and-a-half show, so no intermission.
90 minutes. I said we pack 100 years of country music history into 90 minutes. Yeah. So you're out by 1:30, and you don't miss your 2 o'clock show.
There you go. That's great. And that noon time slot is very unique. Not very many people have a noon time slot.
No, and I honestly didn't know how that was going to work, but it's been great.
Yeah. Well, I think what I like about it is if you are on vacation and you want to sleep in, you can.
Right.
Like if you're sleeping to noon, half the day's over. You don't need to sleep in that late, right? So by that time, and most people, if they have to check out, they're already done, right?
Right.
So I think that's a good deal. So folks, here is the rack card. If you are at your hotel or wherever, check this out. And you are going to be running all the way through December 16th.
Correct.
And the schedule doesn't change. It's just Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And I like that because it's easy for people to remember. Dino, you guys, if you don't know who he is, you can go back on a previous episode. We interviewed Dino probably last year. So go back on our Facebook or on our website, and you can check that out as well.
And I just want to emphasize, it is a live situation, live band. No 2 shows are alike, and everyone sings, everyone performs. It's comical, it's quick, it's fast-paced. It's like a train. It starts out slow, and it ends like a freight train going right through your living room. It's on fire, so it's a lot of fun.
And so tell us some of the other. Well, we have Rob Wilson on drums.
Eric Green, who was just nominated Bass Player of the Year. Dino, of course, which is nominated Guitarist of the Year. And we have J.T. Lynn on piano, who used to play for Shoji's, played for a number of shows in town. And then myself, and I was just nominated Female Entertainer of the Year, and the show was nominated New Show of the Year.
Well, congratulations on all that. How many seats does that theater hold?
200.
200. So when we say intimate, it is very intimate, and so the stage is like right there where the seats are.
Yes, yeah, and I find that actually people are loving it. I think it's because it's so intimate, you feel like you know everyone, and I love it. They get to smile and rock, and they're singing sometimes louder than I am, so the audience.
Okay, folks, here's the deal. Dalena is back, and she is over at the Little Opry Theater at IMAX, which is over on Shepherd of the Hills Expressway. You can go in there, you can shop, you can go to shows, you can eat at McFarland's. So it's really a destination experience. And so you could literally spend all day over there. And so, welcome back to the entertainment community.
You, Chris.
Thanks for coming out.
To see you again.
It's good to see you. And folks, we'll be back in just a second to wrap the show up. folks, welcome back to Play Branson. I hope you enjoyed the interview with Dalena Ditto today. You can catch her out at the Little Opry Theater, out at Branson's IMAX, out on Shepherd of the Hills Expressway, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursdays at noon. Now, I've been giving away Cold Stone ice cream here on a couple of episodes, and so here's the deal. If you will go and just put some comment on our Facebook page in the next 4 days after we launch this episode, whoever comments, we will randomly then pick somebody, and they will get some free Cold Stone ice cream here from Branson, Missouri. 2 locations in Branson. Cold Stone ice cream, you can't beat it. Next month, or not next month, next week, we will have 2 guests on from the Duttons. And it's really the 3rd generation of performers. We're going to have Timothy Dutton and Julian Dutton. So anxious to talk to those young guys, and we're excited about that. Also, upcoming events here in the area, we have the Southern Gospel Picnic out at Silver Dollar City, August 27th to September 6th. I have Dustin Lynch on September 10th, Colin Ray on September 10th, Blackhawk September 11th, Wade Hayes September 17th, and Lone Star September 18th. So a bunch of country performers coming to Branson for their limited engagement shows. If you need help planning your Branson vacation, you know where to go. It's ibranson.com, or you can call those folks at 877-ENTERTAIN. They will help make your Branson vacation the best it can be. So call those folks when you're booking your Branson vacation. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week here on Play Branson.